everybody. Today I'm going to have another one pot meal. So this should be pretty simple. It's Skillet Lasagna. And I browned already for you a pound to a pound and a half of ground beef. The recipe calls for Italian sausage, but we have learned through this process that we do not like it. So you can substitute ground beef for this. You need to go ahead and get you some spices. You need a half a teaspoon of onion powder. You need half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And a half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Okay. You add that in there. We'll put just a little bit of salt, just a dash, so not much, and some pepper. Alright, got that. Alright, now I did not have the marinara or pasta sauce that the recipe called for. They called for jar. I didn't have any for the size amount that it requires, which is 24 ounces. So I am going to use this canned pasta sauce. It's 24 ounces and that's how much I need. So I'm going to pour that in. Let me get a spatula to clean out this can. I usually do not have these on hand, but I've been trying to stock up. And I just so happened to have one. I thought, well, I can try that. It's going to be mixed in with a bunch of other stuff anyway, so. Box of these lasagna noodles, and it says 3/4 of a pound, and this is almost a pound, so I'm assuming that this is the perfect size. I'm just going to assume it. Alright, and what you need to do is break these up in here, and that's what I'm going to do. Let's set these down. Okay, they need to be in bite-sized pieces. Just keep an eye on your liquid ratio versus the noodles, and add chicken broth as you need to. I was going to do beef instead, but the recipe calls for chicken. I thought that may mess with the flavor a little bit. Sometimes when I cook with beef bouillon, like in a chili or something, it kind of I don't know, it flavors it like it's supposed to, but it's got a gelatinous kind of texture. So I'm trying to just go by the recipe on this one, and then if I see later on that it would have been better the other way, then I may change that. That's nothing to change because there's just flavors. That's all. All right, I'll see you back here in a little while. Finally, I got this done. It took me forever. Well, longer than I anticipated anyway. I ended up having to add, I think, a whole nother cup of liquid. So the 12 ounces of noodles must have been just a teeny bit too many. Or it could be the fact that they're oven ready and maybe that's the issue. I don't know. I really don't know. But they're about al dente right now. So we're ready to go on our cheese mixture. Alright, so in a small bowl you need to mix 1/3 of a cup of cottage cheese or ricotta, whichever one. Okay. Alright, 1/3 of a cup and 1/4 of a cup of parm. I'm just gonna pour all of it in there because it's like just a little bit, just a smidge over 1/4. And a cup of mozzarella shredded. Let me get that real quick. Okay. Now the only thing that I feel this is missing is a little bit of basil. Alright, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of basil in here too. Half a teaspoon maybe. May not even be that much. But I always put that in my regular lasagna, so I'm just adding a little bit to it. I feel like it's missing it. Wow, this does not seem like enough to me. But we're gonna go with it. Okay. Alright, once the noodles are tender, which they are, you're supposed to put this in there and we're supposed to mix it once the cheese melts. So let it sit here. You could even go ahead and put like a lid on it, you know, cover it somehow. Hey, if I didn't have a lid, I would always use a piece of aluminum foil, so that's always a thought too, because you know some of these big pans you don't have lids for them. So just leave this on here. Let it melt. If it doesn't melt, you know, for whatever reason, I don't know, stick it under the broiler for just a few minutes. But you need to watch it because, you know, it can burn. So just let it sit there. Sorry guys. Let it sit there. That's what it looks like in the pan. Let it just sit there and try to melt. And like I said, if it doesn't, put it under the broiler. Okay, so I had to stick mine in the broiler. Lid thing didn't work. So I'm just gonna stir this up. And that's it. Took a little bit longer than I anticipated. Like I said, I may have added too much noodles, you know. But there you go. Really easy. Really good. I did taste it, so I feel like it needs more salt and more pepper maybe. And I'm probably gonna just redo the seasonings as well. This recipe was not mine. I'm gonna put a little bit more garlic powder, and it's just a little bit. You don't need that much. Maybe a couple of dashes, maybe, because it needs to be full of flavor, and it's kind of bland. Just saying. I'm gonna put a little bit of the Italian seasoning in there, but not much, because I think it's fine on that. You know, because I did use pasta sauce, so it kind of already has that in it. But anyway, if your pasta sauce has got tons of flavor, it's probably going to be fine. Okay, let me get this plated up for a thumbnail. I'll see y'all later. Have a good day. See you next time.